Well, hello, you fabulous interior design professional. You're in the right place. This is Business of Design. I'm Advocate in Chief, Kimberly Selden, and by the way, a working interior design professional. So I know what you're going through. And our guest today does too. We have an amazing Business of Design member, Christian Warren, who is originally from Tennessee, but now has moved to Los Angeles. And Christian had a question that we thought would be a perfect topic for the podcast. So I'm just going to read you her initial inquiry to us. This is from Christian. Hey, Kimberly. First of all, thank you so much. You have completely changed the game for me. I hope you can hear the smile in my voice because we hear this a lot and it just makes me so happy. Christian says because of the Business of Design process, she is more profitable than ever, all caps, and she now has the confidence to pursue the job she's always dreamed of having. She says she's in a situation that's unique because she established her design firm in Tennessee and she wasn't very profitable there. Then on a whim, moved to Los Angeles. COVID happened and she ends up getting a lot of projects in Tennessee, but now is extremely profitable. And here's the dilemma. Christian says, while she's enjoyed reconnecting with great clients from back in Tennessee and traveling back and forth, she's now finding, because she's got a daughter at home, that the traveling is a little exhausting. And she's decided not to take on any more clients in Tennessee, but wants to focus exclusively on her new home in LA. Only problem, she says, is I have no idea how to do that. So that's the conversation today. It may apply to you if you've changed cities. It could also apply to you if you're just starting out and you haven't nailed that first client, or you're wondering how you're going to get that first client to come on board. Christian is full of really practical, good advice, and I love none of it is theory for her. She's tried it. She used to do it a different way. Now she does it the BOD way, and she is living proof that it works. It will work for you too. You're going to love Christian, and you can follow her on Instagram, SCW_D_studio. And if you're driving, you can't write that down. Go to Business of Design in the show notes. You'll see her gorgeous picture, you'll see Christian's bio, and you'll see information on how you can get in touch with her. If you're not already friends with everyone in the Business of Design community, you're really missing out. This is such a loving, inclusive group with so much wisdom. I'm so grateful to have you guys in my life. I'm so grateful to have this woman in my life too. Let's hear from Cheryl Horn and then get into the show. We're really glad you're here. By the way, this episode is episode 292, Starting Over, Starting High with Christian Warren. Hey, Cheryl, what's happening at Business of Design?
A lot. It's been a busy month. And this week, we've been leading up to this for a long time, but we're finally doing your commercial contract. So that's going to be a 2-hour seminar on Thursday, which is September 29th at 12 p.m. EST. And you're going to walk through how the 15 steps work on a commercial project.
Yes. A lot of people ask me that. Now, I don't do, multi-unit skyscrapers. I tend to do those commercial projects where I'm working in a residential project and the homeowner will say, oh, we also have an office. We need a boardroom, or we also have a condo. Could you do the lobby? And I love the commercial work I do, and I just exactly follow the 15 steps with a few modifications. So I'm looking forward to that. That'll be a nice addition to the offering that we have at Business of Design, because we've never offered that up before.
No, I know you get a lot of coaching calls about that. We do have a lot of residential designers who sort of use that coaching opportunity to transition into commercial. We get a lot of phone calls like, I need to book a call with Kimberly. I've got a consultation next week for my first commercial project. What do I do?
Exactly right. Okay, so that's coming up. Yeah, I better be ready for that. And what else?
Well, coming up in a couple of weeks, you're headed to Charleston and Savannah to do some planning for the retreat. And we've just opened registration for that, which is exciting.
I am, and I will be meeting a couple of Business of Design members there who are going to share some secret sources with us. And we will be working on our learnings just to make sure that we have content that's new. Boy, the retreat Every year, I think it's going to be impossible to come up with new content. And every year we do. And I come away so energized and fired up. And I guess people were looking forward to it because the minute you made the announcement, we immediately got registrations for the retreat.
Yeah, which is nice. The last couple years, it's been so quiet, and we've sort of pushed off doing these live events because we just weren't sure what people were up for yet. And everyone is definitely ready to get out and travel. I was surprised how quickly we've been getting registrations, which is super excited because I know how much planning goes into this. And once you've done that initial planning trip, you're like right in retreat mode.
Right. And a retreat can change your life. It really, truly can transform your business, and it can give you the motivation you need for an entire year. So I, for one, really get so much out of them. It's always such a joy. So, wow.
Yeah. So registration is already open. So make sure you check out the details on the website. It's going to be happening on April 27th to 30th, 2023, which sounds far away, but it's really not.
No.
We do have early bird pricing on right now. And of course, members are going to save on top of that. So head to the website for details. And by all means, reach out to me, Cheryl at businessofdesign.com, if you have any questions.
Yes. And if you had a good year, remember this is a tax write-off.
It's like a business expense.
To travel for business. It's great. Yeah.
Design learning.
It's good to see your face. I miss your face.
I know you were traveling for so long, but
yeah.
You're back.
Thank you for holding it all together.
You know, I tried.
Nice to come home and everything. But what do I need to do? You're like, nothing. The design team is like, nothing. Everything is fine. Go away again. Okay, great.
It's kind of got to be a good feeling, though. It sounds bad, but it's got to be a good feeling.
You remember what it was like? I didn't feel like I could take a day off.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I couldn't take a day off. So
and as staff feeling awful, having to reach out because we needed that yes or no or whatever it was before moving things forward.
Yeah, it works for everybody. Yay. Well, if you're happy to work, I'm happy to go away. So just let me know. Thanks, Cheryl.
Talk to you soon. Bye.
Welcome to the Business of Design podcast with Kimberly Seldon. Business of Design is the world's best business training for interior design professionals like you. We have the systems, strategies, and protocols you need to consistently satisfy clients, increase profitability, and run your projects like a boss. Unlike traditional coaching, BOD is a fast track to immediate results. Don't try to do this alone. Join today and you'll have access to hundreds of targeted training modules, plus member perks like BOD live events, member-only podcasts, preferred pricing, and the support of an engaged community of peers. We all know design matters. At Business of Design, we think designers matter too.
I feel like I'm talking to my fairy godmother. I'm sure everyone tells you that.
Oh, you know what? I feel so lucky to have you guys in my life because you just reinforce for me what I need to do every single day, which seems ridiculous because I've been doing it 15 years, but I still am rewired in this strange way that makes me want to like just wing it, which is really bad for me. Anyway, thank you. That's so nice.
Oh, it's true. It's true. Anytime I want to misbehave, I'm like, what would Kimberly say? What would Kimberly do? I can't.
That's so funny. I actually do that sometimes too. I'll say, what would Kimberly say? I'm like, everybody will be so disappointed in me if I do this stupid thing. I have to do the right thing here. And it gives me courage. That's for sure. I just want to check your levels. So just tell me what you had for breakfast.
I had coffee and cinnamon sugar toast from Trader Joe's.
Ooh.
That really thick bread with the raisins and the cinnamon. And I've been on a carbs kick since I had the kid, and I can't get off it. So
I love that you said you've been on a carb kick since you had the kid. Who is the kid? Tell us about the kid and how old is she?
Bernadette. She's 19 months old. We call her Bernie. She's just the sweetest.
So cute. I love it. So don't be surprised if we hear her in the background.
Yeah. And I live on a pretty busy street corner, and it's a little noisy, but
don't worry about it. So Christian, tell everybody the big news, like where you're from and where you're moving to and the reason that we're having this conversation on the podcast.
Okay. So I'm from Memphis, Tennessee, and I actually have lived in Los Angeles for 4 years. So it's a little bit of a complicated, weird situation. I started a business in maybe like 2010 in Memphis. I was married at the time, and I had a pretty successful husband who allowed me to treat my business kind of like a hobby.
Oh,
and
hello.
I did.
Yep. It's a familiar story.
Yeah. I paid for people's product. I worked for free. I painted the walls. I did all that stuff. Definitely didn't log my hours, just, flat fees of like $5 pretty much. Looking back at it, it feels like it was about that much.
You're not alone. So don't feel apologetic, because you're not alone. A lot of people listening are just nodding their heads and going, yep, done that.
Yeah. So that was my journey for about 3 years. And then maybe my timeline's a little bit off. I started the business in 2010. And again, it was just a hobby. And then in 2017, I got divorced. Moved to Los Angeles, like on a whim. Like, it was the most random thing. I had no reason to come to LA. I just had one friend who was like, come to LA, you'll love it, I promise. And I was like, okay. I visited, the sun was shining, and it was just so beautiful. And I was like, okay, I'm going to come here and heal. I'm going to start over and just enjoy what this place has to offer. So I started working for another designer. It was just he and I for, I guess about 3 years, and then COVID hit, and and out of nowhere, clients from way back when were like, hey, we bought a new house, or let's finish this project. And then new clients came my way too, from Tennessee.
Oh, I was going to say, so you're living in Los Angeles, but you're now getting calls for jobs in Tennessee.
Correct. Yeah. So I just thought, okay, like, sure, let's give it a go.
Everybody was remote anyway, right? During COVID, it's like, well, it didn't really matter where your clients were. Sure, we can help you.
Totally. So it just felt like, yeah, that makes sense. Even if they were in Los Angeles, I'd have to be doing it from the sofa. So it was fine. And actually, right before COVID hit, my former boss had shared your podcast with me. It's funny because he thought he was sharing Business of Home, and he sent Business of, because he wanted me to listen to some famous decorator talk about something fancy. And he sent your podcast. And I came to work and I was like, Jason, did you hear what this woman is saying? Like, we have to bill hourly. It has to be this way. There are these 15 steps. Like, it's blowing my mind. Let's talk about it. And he was kind of like, okay, Christian, like, I've been doing this for 20 years. I'm going to keep with my system, but whatever. But you had kind of like been dropped into my lap by what felt like fate.
That is so funny. Thank you, Jason, for that unintentional connection.
Yeah. So I had just been listening. I had no clients at the time. I was just listening because I just found it so intriguing and enlightening and mind-blowing. And I was just like soaking it up like a sponge. So when my former clients and new clients came to me, I had all of this information in my arsenal that I wanted to implement. I was ready to try the system. I was ready to start logging my hours, and ready to present a new face to these clients. So it really was like, the timing was amazing. So with those first few clients, I really was mostly focused on the billing, like the hourly logging, because that for me, like at that point, I wasn't a member of BOD. I was just listening to the podcast. And that was the thing that I just heard people repeat again and again and again. So I tried it, and that first project, like, I was profitable. And it was just
right.
a little bit.
It's kind of funny, right? Like, it's a pretty easy career to be profitable in. You just have to charge.
Yeah, totally. And I didn't charge enough, but I charged, and I was working for my former boss at the time, and then doing this on the side. So I'd wake up at like 4 a.m. and get my projects in, and just had my little side hustle. And then a former client who was a builder asked me to do a show house for him in Tennessee. So we started working on that together. And I mean, show houses are never like cut and dry or that easy or that profitable.
Right.
But I did it. And it led to the biggest job I've had yet, which was like a new build and redecorating or totally new furniture, everything. So like I'm selecting the moldings, we're, paint colors, floors, every stitch of furniture. Like they're not keeping a single thing.
So good.
So good. Like so ideal. And they're the kindest, like most amenable people. I followed the 15 steps, and especially those first introductory meetings where it was like me reading through the contract with them.
Yeah.
Very, very thorough and helping them to understand the billing process, et cetera, and the 15 steps. And they were just so excited that I was organized, like above all, because they had never even seen anything I'd done, and they didn't care.
That's hilarious. Had they worked with other designers before?
This is their first time with a designer.
Okay. They hit the jackpot.
Well, and they're in their mid-60s. They're building their dream home. They've got plenty of money. They're working with this builder who brought me on for the showcase house. And so they're super ideal. But so all that to say, my first year as a side hustle, Kimberly, I made 6 figures.
You see everybody. And we always say like, that's the entry level to make 6 figures, because there's a lot of coaches out there who say, I can help you make 6 figures. And you're like, wait a minute, really? That's the goal? No, that's the entry level. Don't get me wrong. I'm not putting down anyone who's finally making 6 figures. I remember when that moment happened, and we have to get there, but there's 6 figures and then there's 6 figures. When I started Business of Design, I thought 6 figures was a pretty good goal. And now I'm thinking 7 figures is a pretty good goal, but we'll take upper 6 figures. You know what I mean?
Totally. Like now that I know that that's possible, it just felt like I just wanted to keep doubling. So I got pregnant with Bernadette in 2020 and then had her 2021. I did take a little bit of time off, and I did that showcase house. So it wasn't 6 figures that next year, but this year, Kimberly, I'm slotted to make more than double what I made the first year.
Yay. Okay. And we hear, we hear that all the time. So if you're not yet a member, you should be a member. Like we just hear it all the time, and it's music to my ears, because I remember what it felt like to go from no profitability or negative profitability to some profitability to more to like, oh my God, I can't even believe it now.
Yeah. And it's funny because, I really see this as a spiritual practice too. Like my career is the arena in which I'm going to up-level myself.
Yeah.
And so I set some goals at the beginning of the year that felt totally unachievable, but felt like a spiritual practice that I needed to do. And one of them was buying a house. And we just got the keys yesterday to our first home. And I never thought I'd own a home in LA. And that is because I did the 15 steps, period.
I am so excited for you. Where, like approximately, don't give us the address, but kind of what neighborhood are you in?
We're in the Valley. We're next to Encino.
Okay, so my daughter is currently living in Studio City. So I know where that is. Yeah. She lives close to the Garland.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
A little 1,400 square foot mid-century home, but like it is so perfect for our family. We're so excited.
And to be able to buy a home in LA is no small accomplishment. It's an expensive place. So congratulations.
And I have to tell you, Kimberly, it's so funny because I'm self-employed, obviously. And so they like comb through your finances to get you approved. And honestly, the biggest thing they had an issue with, they're like, why are these deposits so big? I had to prove why I was making so much money.
Wow. I wish everybody listening is going to have that same problem coming up. That's amazing. You have to justify why you have so much money. Yeah. Okay. I love it.
Yeah. So this big project in Tennessee is coming to a close. And again, part of that like spiritual practice for me is weeding out things that don't make me feel good anymore, and traveling back to my hometown where my divorce happened, where just like the energy's a little bit off for me. And I kind of feel like a big fish in a small pond. I'd really like to step into my worth as a designer and a professional and know that I can have work here where I've chosen to be, where my family is, and a place where I never thought I'd have a career. So I want to know how you do that. Because when I started my career, it's easy to to, bring in clients on a referral basis in a smaller town because there's not a big pool of people, right? And you're also getting referrals from people who have known you for a long time and trust you. And if you say you're going to do something, they know that. So I just don't know how to find my clients here. I moved here 4 years ago, and most of that's been COVID time too. So it's been hard to make like a network of people.
Yeah, it's almost like you're starting from scratch.
Totally. But I don't want to take on new projects in Tennessee because I really believe that if I keep my kind of channel full of those projects, then I won't be open to receive the things that I'm trying to align with now.
Yep, I believe that too. Yeah. Okay, we are going to come up with some suggestions for Christian, but this feels like a great place to take a break and hear a word from our sponsor. I'm very excited about this one, Kohler Signature Stores and Experience Centers. Have you ever done a project without Kohler? I don't think I have. Kohler Co., of course, is a global leader in the manufacture of kitchen and bath products, and it's continuing to expand its presence in North America, opening a 38th Kohler Signature Store in Torrance, California. Now, that's not too far from me in Santa Monica. I may have to check it out, although I frequently use the West Hollywood stores. Kohler stores offer sophisticated displays, elaborately designed suites and vignettes, so I get great ideas, and they showcase all the Kohler family brands: Kohler, Calista, Roburn, and Ansax Tile and Stone. One of the cool things about these experiential spaces is they offer, for example, working shower systems, lighted mirrors, intelligent toilets. You can figure out how everything works, so when you present it to your clients, you're the expert. Listen, just as I have an A-team of contractors, plumbers, and electricians, I also have an A-team of suppliers, and Kohler is at the top of my list. So I wholeheartedly recommend you check out the nearest Kohler Signature Store or Experience Center. And if there isn't one physically close to you, don't worry. You can visit them online and virtually. If you want to look good to your clients over and over again, and I know you do, you have to rely on brands you can trust. To find a Kohler Signature Store or Experience Center near you, go to stores.kohler.com or go to Business of Design, and we'll have the link right there for you. Thank you, Kohler, for sponsoring Business of Design. We really appreciate it. Well, so much has changed. You're just not at all the same person you were when you were in Tennessee. And so, for one thing, you already know in your new life here in Los Angeles, you're never going to rest on your laurels again like you did in Tennessee. You're never going to waste a job and do that work, that hard, draining work that you're good at. You're never going to do that for free. You're always going to make what you need to make in order to create a sustainable business. So that's amazing because you're never going backwards. It's only going forward from this point on. So then a lot of people are saying like, oh yeah, I just started too. And what do I do to get that first client? How do I get that first client? Have you had a first client yet?
It's funny because I've had 2 opportunities that it's funny because one of the questions I really wanted to ask you was, do I have to kind of go back to a beginner's mindset? You just told me I didn't, that I'm never going to go back to pre-work again. But when I did start, I was just taking whatever came my way. And the 2 projects that I've had potential, potential to lead the project, I went in with my contract. I went in with my confidence and my full rate and explained how things went, and I did not get those jobs. One of them was a friend of my partner. I feel like she wanted me to go in we're friends, and you know that I don't really want to pay a lot. I mean, she's got plenty of money. She has a fabulous house in Studio City. But she just didn't want to pay, full price for anything.
Fair
and then
enough.
The other person was a friend of a friend that I met at a dinner. And she has plenty of money too, I'm sure. But they're renting a really fabulous apartment in Hancock Park and looking for a house in Hancock Park. She brought me over to the house to have a consultation. We went through the contract and reviewed all the details. And then it just kind of kept going back to my husband isn't sure. I had the husband involved from the beginning, but
it's bad luck. I'm sorry that that's happening, but I don't think. See, for me, if I could channel myself, a younger version of myself, how I would have interpreted that then is, well, this isn't working. I'm charging too much. I'm freaking them out. I'm gonna have to lower my rate. I'm gonna have to work for free. That's how I would have interpreted that. But you're not going to do that. The reality is, those just weren't your jobs, and there are jobs waiting for you, but those two weren't your jobs. But you got the practice of reading the contract, and you can continue to just stand firm in the knowledge you know exactly what you're doing, and keep channeling how you feel with those clients in Tennessee who are the ideal clients, because that's who you're looking for in LA as well. And I think maybe for your first couple of jobs in LA, maybe it's not perfect to work for a friend of a friend. Maybe you just need to find that client who you don't know at all. So how do you find that client? So a couple of things. If you have any relationship, or you can make a relationship with any of the great shops that you would like to work with, that can be a really good lead in. So for example, if I was looking for a client, I would think, who are my favorite stores that I buy a lot of furniture from? Like in LA, I do a lot with Lawson Fenning, or with Ann Sachs Tile, or, there's just various people that I go to over and over again. I would talk to those people and say, I need clients. I have tons of clients in Tennessee, and now I need tons of clients in LA, or, not tons, but I need the right clients. How can I get clients who want me to choose every single time Ann Sachs Tile? Because I know the customer who likes Ann Sachs Tiles is Ann Sachs Tiles is my customer. That is my customer. So I'd be very select about the shops I went to, and just say, what's it going to take for me to work with some of your clients? How can we make that happen? The other thing is, I think if I were in a situation where I had to start over, I would try to channel a sense of desperation that, feeding my family depends on me finding this job. And if that's how I feel, what would I be willing to do to find that job? What lengths would I be willing to go to, right? Like, it's okay to put out the word with everybody that you're looking for work. Explain that you're a high-end luxury designer in Tennessee and you have lots of work there, but you need to now transition to Los Angeles. And I know that there are people in LA who would say, I love that she's from a different place. I don't want the same old that everybody's gotten. She's got this different experience. So what have you tried?
Well, my partner Richard's a little bit older, and he has a great network of friends. So whenever they're all English, whenever I'm with them, I try to pedal myself, but then I also feel pretty cheesy and
I know,
clawing. And again, I've been saying that for a few years, and the only person who has reached out has then been blown away by my prices. The other thing that I kind of keep thinking is real estate agents. Mm-hmm. My former boss had an agent that fed him a lot of his best projects. I like that you said desperation, because I think it's better to think of desperation in the way that you're kind of peddling yourself, rather than desperate for the job so that you discount your rates or you take on free work or whatever. Because I've been thinking that it would make sense to kind of show up to agencies, or to send out basically cold calls / cold emails and say look, I'm doing this. I'd love to be connected with some of your clients. I've done that a couple times to no avail. And then I reached out to the Pasadena Showcase House a few times. They finally followed up with me and have asked me to participate this year.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, I feel like that could be a great end. But it's not paid work.
No, but it really gets your face out there. And just as a side note, I know when we do show houses for years, we would do these show houses, and it's expensive to do it. It costs money, right? Yeah. And it's fun, but you're showing off, and that's all good. But a few years in a row, we didn't get any clients. And then we said, well, why are we doing this if we're not getting clients? We decided we wanted to do something that would get us more attention. And so we hired this really handsome guy to walk around in his bathing suit, and we had this bedroom, and we said he was the pool boy, and the bedroom had these little hints all over the place. The woman who lived in the house was having an affair with the pool boy, and so he was the pool boy at the opening night party, and every single person person who came to that event took a picture with the pool boy. We got so many inquiries after that show house because everyone remembered us. So don't tell everybody you're going to do that, but think of some way to make your room memorable for people. So they go, oh my God, I love the blah, blah, blah that happened in that one room. Because everybody in those show houses is so talented, right? But you want to be the name that they remember. So that, I mean, that makes me think too, every single thing you do is an opportunity. So take full advantage of that opportunity. Don't waste a second on any opportunities. Do you have any press that you've done in Tennessee or anywhere that you can kind of promote in LA and kind of get some press going?
So the house that I worked on, the showcase house in Tennessee, finished wrapped in December of last year. And I have really great photographers who are connected press-wise. So they're looking to push it to a couple of magazines. They're also photographing some current projects in Tennessee for me now, and we're slotted to potentially do like House Beautiful. What was the other one they were excited about? Maybe Milieu.
That would be very cool for you. Because it's possible that those two clients you met with thought you were really great in person after you left, did some Googling, and couldn't find what they needed to back up your position, how you've positioned your brand in Los Angeles, right? So that press helps to build that trust. We talked about that in the last episode, podcast 291 last week. People don't trust you if they don't know you. And of course, they can't know you physically, face to face, but they get to know you by the collaterals they find about you online. I think they're actually looking to see that there's a consistency across all the different touch points where they can find your name. And you did work really hard to grow your positioning in Memphis, and you don't want to backslide now that you're in LA. So press would be really good for you.
Yes, it's in the works. Nothing yet.
Okay, here's another idea. If I had to start over again, I would figure out someone to partner with, and I would host a really great swish evening. So I've used this example before. We take, in the past, I've taken different groups of people to different cities to learn about architecture and design. And one of the cities we did was New York City, and we got in touch with Tory Burch, and we asked if we could have a morning where I think the store opened at 10. We wanted to come in at like 9. So we had a fashion show, we had mimosas, we had, everybody got 10% off. The store graciously said 10% off for everybody. Everybody bought tons of merchandise. It was so crazy. Everyone's buying purses and shoes. It was like they had 1 hour before the store opened. I don't know. It was mimosas and the handsome waiters. I don't know. But it was insane. Tory Burch loved it. And now I wasn't trying to get clients out of it, but it made me think I would host an event. So if your partner is, if he's connected, if he's got friends and family, and you can invite any potential clients to something that feels exclusive, and then don't make it a hard sell, but at some point early in the event, you'll welcome everybody. You'll tell them what you do. You'll show a couple pictures of your last project that was in House Beautiful. And you'll say, now, some of you in this room are going to work with me. Some of you are going to be my clients. And I'm super excited about that. But tonight, let's just have fun kind of thing. Put it out there that you're looking for clients, but you're setting up this really cool evening for them. And the thing about a night like that, it could be partnering with a real estate agent. It could be partnering with a great furniture store. The thing about a night like that is they'll use their mailing list to get more clients there, and you'll invite a bunch of people. That's what I would do.
I love that idea, Kimberly. That's such a good idea.
Can I come? I will happily come.
Are you on the West Coast right now?
I'll be in LA for a short period in October, and then I'll kind of be there from January to June.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you mostly in Toronto right now?
Half the year in Toronto and half the year in LA, and and then whatever. I don't know where I never know where I am. I kind of miss COVID. I knew where I was. I was always in one spot. Now I'm like, I don't know.
I know.
I would. Totally. That would be so fun to help you with.
I think that it would be amazing. I love that idea. The other thing I wanted to ask specifically about was social media. I feel like when I started, like it was kind of easy to get seen on social because the platform wasn't just wasn't what it is now. And especially like in Los Angeles, hashtagging yourself as an LA designer, like there are a million people doing that every second. Like you're not going to get seen.
No.
Do you feel like it makes sense to put, like, it's not my nature to be on social all day long. Do you think it makes sense to pour efforts into that? Like, is it important for potential clients to go to your Instagram and see, wow, she's got these followers or whatever?
I think the reason I need to be on social media and aware of social media is because my potential clients will go there to see what I'm doing. I'm not a good example because I've never had to rely on social media to get clients. I was already established. So my feed is full of travel and tequila and business of design. So, but I do think clients will go to your Insta page to see, or to TikTok or whatever, to see what you're up to. So I do think for that reason you need to do it, but I don't think it's a full-time job kind of thing where it's, I mean, I know that some people disagree. Some people say they get good clients from social media, but I don't hear that frequently anymore.
Right. My justification for not pouring a lot of time and effort into it is that like people are using it as a place for inspiration and those people can't necessarily afford me. They kind of want a DIY usually, or they want tips, or they want, So
that's such a good point because I don't do DIY and I don't want DIY customers. So I won't put any DIY on my Facebook page, but I'll put like that I'm cycling in Scotland because I know that my clients also love to go on, extravagant vacations. So in a way, even though it's not interior design, it's like, oh, I think she would get us. I think she's staying at that hotel. Oh, okay. I think she would understand what we're looking for.
Totally.
So it is about being completely consistent so that any little bit of collateral a client might see at any point would speak to who you are today as an interior design professional.
Okay. That's reassuring because I don't want to pour effort into.
I mean, I know there are companies that will like do your posts, and so I do. Yeah. I don't know.
I know.
When I talk to designers and I say who's following you, they say other designers liking and loving, and you see the same names. Yeah, it's become quite incestuous. But maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm not the right person to. No, maybe I don't know. And I do want to say this one thing. Goals are important. But far more important, is creating those systems that will put you where you need to be every single day. And then one day you look up and you've reached your goal. We recently reviewed the book Atomic Habits at a BOD Live, and I am just more convinced than ever that what James Cleary writes in the book is true. We do not rise to the level of our goals. We fall to the level of our systems. So having said that, I think what's really important is for you, Christian, to develop a system for yourself whereby you're looking for the right clients in LA. And that could be something as simple as 10 minutes a day. You're going to make phone calls or do face-to-face meets with people who might connect you with the right client. It could be making 3 phone calls a week where you're asking directly for someone to connect you with the right client. But that system, once I have that system written down in paper and I block that time in my calendar, I'm much more likely to take those steps and create the result that I'm looking for. Without the system, I'm not getting to the goal. That's been my experience anyway. And we will talk more about atomic habits in an upcoming episode. And Christian, I think you had at least another question.
Okay, one more thing. I feel like now is the time, as I'm starting over, to really be intentional about my marketing and the face I'm presenting. I love that. I actually have your book too, and I love the worksheets in the beginning that talk about kind of defining your mission statement and your message and your ethos and all of that. And how important do you think getting that message out in the beginning is in aligning with your potential clients? Should that be like a cornerstone for bringing them in, and then also weeding out the ones who maybe aren't a good fit? Like, do you start doing that weeding out no matter if you have work or not?
Isn't that scary? I know you start thinking about, in fact, the podcast we did last week was about niching down, and you think, oh my gosh, I don't have enough work. How can you ask me to niche down now and focus on this narrow group of clients when I don't have enough work? But the paradox is you have to do that if you want to work in a way that's sustainable. If you want those satisfying projects that you know you're destined to do, you do still need to niche down. And I don't know if doing the mission statement, was it more helpful for me to understand who I am or more helpful for the client to read who I am? I actually think it was more helpful for me. Those exercises like defining your value and the consultation. And then there's another, when we do salary, profit, and wealth, there's another one, salary, revenue, profit, and wealth, that course. There's another exercise. That's what I'm looking for. There's another exercise in there that talks about defining your value. I think that it's really important for me to do those so that when I meet a client, I can say, here's why you should hire me. And I can really mean it because I know the value I'm going to bring to this project. And it's not just, I'm going to make beautiful rooms. Who cares? Lots of people can do that. In fact, you can just go to Restoration Hardware and buy all their furniture. It's lovely. Nothing's wrong with it, right? But I have to be able to tell the client why they should hire me instead of going that less expensive route.
Right. Okay.
So, yeah. Oh my gosh, so good to talk to you. So, we end every episode with design intervention. What comes to mind?
I mean, bill for your time. Track every single second. I tell friends who come to me now, they're like, how'd you make all this money? What are you doing? I tell them, I'm like, if I'm thinking about the project, I bill for it.
Yep, that's right.
If you cross my mind and I came up with an idea while I was sitting poolside, I write it down.
I love it. So what do you say to the designer listening who says, I do flat fees so I don't have to bother logging my hours?
You should still log your hours while you're doing that flat fee. It's funny because even with our renovations that we're doing on our house, I'm logging my time so that I can know and see how, if I'm getting faster, if I did something that was more effective. And if I am faster and I still want to meet a certain amount of money at the close of the project, then my rate has to go up. So I'm a stickler for it now, Kimberly.
I'm so impressed. That's so good. I've never logged my hours on my own renovation, but that would be a really smart thing to do. I love that. And if you're renovating your house right now, pictures, and get press around what you're doing now in your house. You don't have to say it's your house. You can say it's for a client, but that's a good start too. Yeah, for sure. I know we met the contractor yesterday and Richard and I were like, oh no, we have a lot more work to do than we thought we did. But I think it's going to be a great marketing tool in the end. So absolutely. And you might even be able to use your own house as an event space, where you invite people in and host an evening where you talk about how to run a design project, find a book club that gets together and do a great design book and you lead the conversation and just be when I hate to say desperate because I feel like there's part of us as we're thinking about leading a spiritual life where we just want to know we're going to be okay and we're going to clean out the channel of the stuff that doesn't work and let the universe bring to us what does work. But I also want to make sure I'm really clear in my intention. I guess that's what I mean by desperate. Be ultra clear in your intention and go for it. Really mean it. Put it out there that that's what you want and that's what you get.
I think that's perfectly stated because it's been interesting to kind of see the balance of the intentionality and kind of following the leads of the universe and then also watching everything that's for me truly just arrive at my doorstep, which I've been able to do. So over the past few years, it's just not been of my own doing. However, when I was brought the thing, I had the tools and I had done the work and I was willing to work hard and to stay in my worth and do the 15 steps and record my time and stay intentional and stay focused, even though I had done nothing to pursue those leads. But now I want to be intentional about getting my own leads. So
yeah, and Bernie's watching, right? You have the obligation of showing her what it takes to be a successful business person.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to meet you in LA one day soon. I'm sure of it.
Absolutely. Yes. Thank you, Kimberly.
So good to meet you, Christian. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks, Kimberly.
Thank you for being part of the Business of Design community and supporting BOD's mission to improve the industry one design business at a time. It's time for you to take the next step and join Business of Design. Like thousands of design professionals in 50 countries around the world, you'll find the systems, strategies, and protocols you need to dramatically improve your business and transform your life. What are you waiting for? Start today.